Welcome to the Zachrilege Cast podcast, YouTube video interview program that features me talking to some of the best and brightest in the atheist / secular / awesome community. This is episode number 83. We're recording live on February 16th, 2017. There will be a little confusion on YouTube as episode 83 is recorded before 82. So I will thank Chris Watson of Podunk Polymath for being guest number 82 in the time travel adventure that's technically tomorrow. So tonight we're going to bring on a reboot and hopefully not the gritty, overblown Batman versus Superman version. Initially, my initial interview about promoting secular feminism was number 29. So if you want to go back in time, you can check that one out. But I listened to the new Promoting Secular Feminism episode earlier this afternoon, and by late afternoon had chatted with Miss Behavin about doing an interview this same evening. So note that my usual scrupulous interview questions are going to be a little more off the cuff tonight. So we have all avatars tonight. We have Miss Behavin, a fan of bacon, cheese, and porn. Miss Anthrope, who smashes the patriarchy as long as she doesn't spill her wine. And Bella Constrictor, who will show her you her snake if you show her yours, more likely the former than the latter. Welcome everybody to the show, and first, long live Amanda Wright.
Woo.
Dearly departed. But the show must go on, so I'll start with Miss Behavin. What was it like kind of wrangling everybody together to get this show together, and what does it feel like to be back on the air?
I'm so happy that we have a show again. It's great. I really missed it, and I missed hanging out with cool people, making something I love, and trying to get the show back on the air was like herding cats. But that's pretty much how it's like to get a group of people to do anything ever.
So
that
what
is true.
People.
Yes.
Okay, got you.
Cat people. Oh, my cat's being really cute right now. Aww.
I have my special Fur Mama mug tonight.
We have a theme going tonight.
Drinking a double brown throwdown from Rogue, and in case I need backup, Cocoa Brown, which is a nice coconut beer from Hawaii, because that's what I had. I had other beers, and I'm like, this is last minute, so this is the way it goes. But maybe just as a quick start, Miss Behavin, can you kind of explain the maybe elevator pitch for promoting secular feminism, just for the people who have not heard it before, the crazy people who will be learned shortly?
Okay, well, Promoting Secular Feminism is a podcast, and we're looking to also start up a blog on our website, which is promotingsecularfeminism.com. And the idea is that we get a whole bunch of people together who are talking about intersectional feminism and secular values combined into, our powers combined sort of Captain Planet-y thing going on here. And since we no longer have Amanda Wright, my old co-host and co-founder of PSF with us, I got some correspondence together. We have currently Miss Anthrope, Bella Constrictor, Vagina George, and more abortions. And we do segments on everything from drunk herstory to comedy sketches that involve our mascot, Princess Sparkle Farts, who is a shape-shifting flying unicorn who is now going to be in a spaceship. And we also do segments about current events, and we had three of our correspondents at the women's marches on January 21st. So we're doing a 2-part series about their experiences at the women's marches in DC, Nashville, and in Alabama. So we've got a lot going on, and we're really hoping to expand the correspondent pool so that more people in the intersectional feminist secular community can be represented. So we're always looking for new people. If you want to be one, email me at promotingsecularfeminism@gmail.com.
And all links will be included in the show notes, and I'll be able to speak clearly at some point. So let's do a quick introduction, Miss Anthrope. I want to talk about a little bit about yourself and like how you got on this show. How you became an original correspondent. There should be a special badge for that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Miss B, can we like get on making me a badge or something? That'd be pretty cool.
On it.
So I let's see, when did I meet you? Like 4 or 5 years ago, in the theater community, and
Yeah.
we were Facebook friends for a long time, and Miss B and I both posted all kinds of fun feminist things on Facebook, and she messaged me one day and was like, "Hey, I'm trying to put my podcast back on the air. Would you like to possibly be a correspondent?" And I was like, yeah, totally, duh, of course. So we went and ate some Thai food and started talking about what the podcast was going to look like, and I was inducted in that way.
I feel like only good things can happen when there's Thai food involved. So good choice.
Yeah, expect PSF erotica.
Oh yes, that's true. I am working on some erotica. I'm trying to decide how I want to incorporate the boa constrictor's snakes into that. There's so many options, honestly.
So many options.
There's a lot you can do with snakes. At least that's what I've heard. So boa constrictor, the last to kind of get introduced. I want to give it a little intro and kind of how you got involved with the show.
Oh gosh. Well, I met Miss B at Reason Rally in DC this past summer. Kind of randomly.
Totally.
I knew about your podcast, about our podcast, but I like didn't know what she looked like or anything, and so I just sort of. She was wearing a big hat that said Miss Behavin on it. But yeah, we kind of connected there. I actually have snakes in real life, so this isn't like a false trope about me. So I had one of my snakes with me there, so that was something that we, I don't know, chatted about a lot.
And your super awesome clitardus shirt.
Yeah.
Clitardus?
Yeah, I was wearing a
Oh,
shirt.
okay,
It's
that's
got,
what Doctor Who, right? Oh, look, I got a reference. Woo!
Yes.
Yeah, it was a picture of a clitoris, but clitorises are so the organ itself is actually bigger than the little bean part that everyone knows about that's on the outside. So actually,
Bigger on the inside.
whatever. It's bigger on the inside. It's fine. This is what I'm going to do on the show is just talk about sex education, which is fun, but and something I do all the time. But yeah, so actually what happened was I much later after meeting Miss B, I stumbled across just a silly, well, not silly, serious, like Christian couples devotional in a thrift store, and I really wanted to deconstruct it. And I was talking to Miss B about that, and we sort of connected on that level and came up with the idea that I could do a segment on the show where I did that, and things just sort of evolved from there, which has been really cool.
Well, it's clear based on the movie you reviewed in this episode that much education might be necessary in regards to sex education. I do want to ask Miss Behavin a question. Can Mr. Haven write me a bio? Because the one he wrote for you was pretty sweet.
I'm sure if you ask really nicely via sex through me, that will totally work. So, yeah.
I'm just, using you to get the Mr. Behavin. Mr. Haven, sorry, there's no B. B is yours.
I think he was Godfrey Haven. I think that was his terrible, terrible name.
Now, I was in the original version of the show. I was added as an honorary member of the Penis Gallery. Now, does this mean that the Penis Gallery is kind of an emeritus situation, and is it done? Is it over?
It's more like a silent supporters league at this point, because we do not have the Penis Gallery in the studio anymore. It just was going to be too difficult to get them all together, and I wasn't going to be able to get Mr. Wright either. So it just wasn't going to be the same. So I figured let's just do away with it, and we'll concentrate on getting as many of the correspondents together in the same room as we could, or at least in the same Skype or
Oh.
Google Hangout thing.
Yeah, which is not easy.
No, it's not.
Oh, sorry about that. That's my fault.
No, it's fine.
Definitely not your
Computer.
fault.
It's just we have
No,
so many
We're
people.
so busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've sort of came up with a solution where it's not conducive or even easy to listen to when there's like more than 2 to 3 people in a segment. So I guess we sort of talked about it being kind of like how the Daily Show is structured, right? So there's like different correspondents, but they're not in every single episode or every single show.
Yeah.
And they, do their own thing, but sometimes they do things together. Which gives the show a lot of freedom and a lot of ability to adapt to whatever life situations happen in anybody else's, in any of the correspondents' lives.
Yes. That was the idea.
Well, as someone who has to wrangle interviews and tries to on a weekly basis and then gets into a bottleneck situation like I am now, where I couldn't get an interview last week and now I have like 3 that I'm trying to schedule in the next like 4 days. And that's just how it goes in the glamorous world of podcasting, right?
Yes.
So how does it feel that the idea that you're switching from a kind of bi-weekly situation to weekly for the show?
Scary. Mostly because I'm the editor. So like I'm just taking bits and pieces and putting them together real quick and making a show. And it's never real quick. I'm always like, oh man, this would sound so cool if I did blah, blah, blah. And then like 8 hours later, I have a show. So it's hardest always to start a show or to restart a show because you're trying to distinguish it from something that came before. And this was the difficulty for me with relaunching the show, is that I was trying to distinguish it from the show before, but I didn't want to make it unrecognizable to fans of the original PSF show. And so I made some changes, but they're not major, except for the lack of Demandorite and the penis gallery. We still have, the segments, and we do have different ongoing segments, but the ideas for them are still very similar. Like we're talking about current events, we're talking about news, we're talking about politics, sex education, reproductive rights, all kinds of things. And it's very similar in themes, but now we have possibly like one individual correspondent who's doing a particular segment, or 2 who are working together to collaborate on a particular segment. It makes the sketches interesting since we almost all have to be involved with every sketch in order to have enough people for the characters.
And I have like no theater background, so anytime a sketch comes up, I'm like, you guys take that. Have so much fun making your different voices and things like that.
Yeah, no one said there'd be acting, right?
Exactly. I was like, I'm just gonna be myself, and now I'm some character who's really still just me.
How did you, Miss Behavin, put together the partnership you have with Miss Andrews' bathhouse and the beauty boxes, which is not a double entendre, maybe?
I hope it is. So Miss Andrea and I actually met, well, Alex and I met at the Geek Gala in Charlotte, North Carolina, in November, or was it October? Anyways, we were both vending tables at the Geek Gala, and I was there selling my paper snowflakes as Rachel the Snow Queen. And Miss Andrews' bathhouse was 2 tables over from me, and there was this amazing person selling bows in between us. So like the 3 vendor tables together were all kind of hanging out and like looking at each other's stuff and just kept hanging out the whole day. So I eventually got to talking to her, and she was really nice. And then I went on her website because at Geek Gala, she had all of her like nerdy stuff. So she had like some Harry Potter themed perfumes and some other Harry Potter stuff. And then she had like some Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones products that she had done, like Bath and Body products. And it was really cool. And then I went to her website and I realized I had not gotten the pun yet of Miss Andrews' bathhouse. I had not gotten it until I looked up her website, and I was like, Miss Andrews, oh. But I looked up her website and started looking at the descriptions of the products, and then I saw the White Male Tears sea salt bubble bath, and I was like, oh shit, I am gonna have to go friend her and like get to know this person, because she is obviously very feminist, and like her description on her website was talking about, you know, progressive feminist ideas and body positivity, sex positivity, and so I thought that her message and her products really kind of fell in line with what we're doing at PSF. So I thought it would be a really cool way to kind of get her more visibility through our podcast, and also to refer her fans to something they might enjoy, which is our podcast. So that's pretty much how that happened. And then I was just like, oh man, I have this idea. And she was like, that's so cool. That sounds great. And, you know, got excited with like 80 exclamation points on Facebook. So that's pretty much how that happened. And that was my first business deal. Yay.
Yeah, it's hard for like when you start listening to shows and they start doing like ads and they try to kind of incorporate it into the show, but it's always like, oh, I'm glad I have this 15-second forward option in my podcast. But to have something kind of naturally fits in with your show and then kind of the way you feel about the world in general, I think that's pretty cool. So I'm
yeah, and
that seems to be working. I mean, hey, you're episode 1, right?
That's kind of what I'm trying to do with the whole podcast right now, is just get it kind of back to the basics as far as what I wanted to do with it. Because like we had a lot of interviews on the previous, on the original show that I felt didn't necessarily align with PSF as a podcast, like the values that we were trying to represent. Oh, sorry. Somebody's very upset.
Yeah, I know. It happens.
I don't know why, because nobody's here. Maybe it's because I said hello. Anyways.
Somebody's here.
No, they're just making it up. Probably. I hope. I'm the only one here. Anyways.
I have snakes because they're so quiet.
My cats are just staring off into
noises.
the distance. The cats are much quieter. I'll be back.
All right.
Wait.
So part of what we're talking about in the show, in this episode, was the Women's March. I know Bella, you were able to attend. I don't know if Miss Anthrop was able to go, but
I was indeed, yeah.
She was in DC.
You're in DC. Oh, that's cool. I went to the one in Atlanta, and I really had no idea what to expect. But we went to like downtown Atlanta, and I think they said 60,000 people were there. I didn't get to hear the speakers, but I just have to say, from my experience, just that was something that I needed personally after the election and what happened. Just all these people coming together and, you know, protest signs like, I don't know why I still have to protest this shit anymore. And, you know, just everybody was on the level. It's like the way everybody in this show is kind of, I think, on the level with each other, and you probably would just hang out and chat anyway. It was really a good time. I don't know if you just want to maybe talk a little bit about the experience you had and what you thought coming in and what you got out of it, and maybe what that will help people do in the future, as opposed to just like this one event and then it's over, you know?
Yeah. So when I went to DC, I don't know what I was expecting, but it was one, definitely like a lot fewer people, and I guess I was expecting more like counter protesters, and instead I was just surrounded by like hundreds of thousands of wonderful women who, and some men as well, and people, you know, like who are non-binary, lots of people coming and supporting us, but I was just like so overwhelmed with like this really good feeling. It wasn't like a protest that I've been to before. It didn't feel like we're angry. It felt like we're coming together in love and in support of one another. And that was honestly what I needed most at that time. I think because I had a really hard time with, I mean, I know a lot of us had a really hard time with the election. And I had just been in like a pretty dark place since November. So that was pretty much the first time that I felt like, oh, you know, maybe it's going to be okay. We're bigger than the administration that we're facing. It was like this huge feeling of togetherness and womanhood, and I just was overwhelmed. It was great.
Yay.
Yeah, so lots of happy, lovey feelings right there.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I have the same sentiment. One moment that really stood out to me, I think, was I was walking along and there was this older woman standing like off to the side, watching all of these people walk by, and she just had like tears in her eyes, which was really powerful to me. I guess I was just like, oh no, I'm gonna cry too.
Yeah.
But not for the same reasons, just because that person over there is crying.
Yeah,
Science.
I definitely felt that.
Yeah. But I think that the next thing that's happening, same organizers, they're trying to do like today was a day without immigrants, I believe, and so they're trying to do a day without women.
Yeah,
I heard a little bit about that.
Actually, the organizers for the Women's March are at my school tonight.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm working, so I didn't get to go see them, but all my friends keep sending me like text messages and pictures. They're like doing an interview with the 3 women who organized it, so I'm just, you know, watching from across the quad like, oh my god. Not that I'm not having a great time right now.
Sure.
You were doing kind of an online thing, right? Miss Behavin on the day of the Women's March. What was that like?
I had a profile and a picture and a bio, and I'm not really sure because I got kidnapped and taken to Target.
That happens.
Yeah, but I was wearing my PSF. I was wearing my PSF shirt, and I wore it all over Target, so that was cool. Especially with all the religious shirts I was seeing all over there. Also, I'd just like to point out that at this moment, Mr. Haven is also working, and he's having to sit in on a Christian apologetics group thing about Islam. So,
oh wow, I bet that's well informed, right?
Yeah, there are some people from our local humanist group there just to make sure it doesn't get too crazy, but not that that's really going to help that much. But at least they're there.
In my atheist prayers.
do report back on that. Now,
I'll let you know if I get anything.
I'm sure you have a lot more to cover because you are doing, you know, Women's March Part 2 on your second episode. But I'll let whoever wants to jump in. What do you think about the kind of the pro-life groups kind of getting the boot from this and the kind of complaints that came from that direction?
Do you mean the march that happened the day after the Women's March?
Well, there was like an official pro-life group that wanted to join the Women's March, and they were kind of like,
oh really?
They kind of were told okay, and then the next day they were told don't come, and
they were sponsoring it at one point, and then we're taking off the sponsorships.
Huh. I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, I didn't think much about it at all.
I mean, I can understand it as an organizer of ReasonCon if I had somebody trying to sponsor me who was, anti-atheist or anti-atheist rights, then I would probably be a little upset about that and want them to not be a part of it. So, I can understand, not necessarily saying that it was the right thing to do, but I don't agree with anti-choice feminism.
Yeah, I mean,
which is essentially what pro-life feminism boils down to, in my view.
right. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's kind of like the whole whether or not punching Nazis is a good thing dilemma, where it's like yes, but then no. Like it's one of those like questions that's just
It's kind of
also, I
like
haven't read
the
anything
whole
about that, so I should just
it's kind of like the whole argument about what freedom of speech being freedom from your speech being impinged by the government, not necessarily meaning freedom of speech without consequences.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's a very, very gray area sort of argument.
Well, I know it's rare for the white male to get to, give their 2 cents, but basically what I thought about the whole pro-life thing was that the Women's March was kind of against what Trump was doing, and Trump jumped all 2 feet into the, anti-abortion. He's talking about women who got abortion having to get some kind of punishment. He didn't say what it was because he can't be concrete about anything. As a caricature of a businessman, now he's a caricature of our president. Woohoo! It just was like, you want to join this group, but you actually don't really agree with what the group's kind of about, so why would you want to do it? I mean, it's like Miss Behavin said, it's like an anti-atheist group wanting to sponsor like a table at a conference and be like, well, I could see that, but it's never going to be like, hey, let's just chat this out, because we don't chat this out. It's
yeah, and that's not the place for chatting it out. Individual conversations are the place for chatting that out. Besides, they have their own march.
Yeah, they
every
literally
year.
had their own march like 2 days
So
later.
I didn't hear much about
it's
that.
not
one.
like
I heard it was
they're not
happening, but after the fact, I didn't really
Well, that's because like
see much about it. Like, I'm sure it was smaller.
Showed up.
Well,
Barely anybody showed up, and
in
it's been
comparison,
happening every year since Roe v. Wade, so it's not a big deal.
in comparison to the Women's March, I guess barely anybody showed up. I don't think it was that much fewer than do most years, but yeah,
that is kind of what I meant, though.
I gotcha. Well, in comparison, nobody ever shows up anywhere. That was the biggest march. But yeah,
so we're just gonna have to disregard everything ever from now on.
Yeah, all protests from now on are invalid.
Don't count.
Well, it was
That's
impressive.
Not true, and we really don't believe that all protests are amazing. Sorry, I've had a little bit too much wine.
I don't know. Is there such a thing? I'm not so sure.
I have only ever had too much wine the night that I recorded the Drunk Herstory segment about Shirley Chisholm, which will be featured in one of the next few episodes of PSF.
That was the last time you had too much wine? Or the
yes,
first
it was.
time you had too much wine?
That was the last time I had too much wine, and that was like last week or the week before.
I had too much wine 3 days ago, so.
Oh, well, I'm working on it. So tonight might be the new night.
There are times when the drinking too much leads to a lot of entertainment. I don't know if you remember the episode of Dogma Debate where Rachel Nannen Brown debated Arn Ra, but Arn Ra took the creationist position, but Rachel was like drunk and was taking the science position, and that was a pretty entertaining debate. I'll put it in air quotes because obviously it was for a joke, but it's time and place.
I don't really. I mean, I'm subscribed, but I don't listen. Let's just put it that way, to Dogma Debate. But I'll have to look for that one because I think that sounds fascinating.
That one might be so far in the archives that it's not even active anymore. I know the show's kind of changed now that they've gone out west and gone all podcast one. But that was back in the day, a solid one, and lots of people have kind of started their careers from there. So it's been good in ways. So how much fun does Mr. Behavin have coming up with nicknames for lady parts?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm sure it's fun, but he has much more fun making me say whatever he writes in the sketches.
That's true. It's like,
Also my bio, because sometimes I read them before we actually record them, but most of the time I don't. So then I'm just as surprised as everyone else when I start saying, I like cheese, cheese makes poop, 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 poop out my butt in the middle of the sketch. So, you know, and the bio that had something about me discovering so much porn. I did not read that before I read it on the air. So that was fun.
But it wasn't entirely inaccurate, was it?
Not inaccurate whatsoever.
We've been sitting back and forth all day.
I will tell you this, though. I think that despite all the fun euphemisms for lady parts and for dildos, all the research that he's done about dildos, anal beads, and butt plugs, which you will hear about later because you haven't heard the butt plugs segment yet, probably.
haven't lived.
Yes, it's coming. Trust me.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Like somebody else said that, please. Thank you. Great.
That's
Despite
like
all
the
of
only
that,
joke I know.
apparently the most fun thing for him to write is the Princess Sparkle Farts dialogue, especially now that we're rebooting Princess Sparkle Farts, because apparently she was very difficult to write early on. But now that he can do basically anything with it, he just makes Princess Sparkle Farts me when I'm really excited. So now you know how I sound when I'm really excited is just Princess Sparkle Farts. So I get really excited about a lot of things, so I sound like Princess Sparkle Farts a lot. And he's getting so much better at writing it that sometimes I will think what the next line is before I even read the next line, and it's exactly the same thing.
Aww.
So, yeah, he knows me scarily well. And he'll know you soon just as well, almost, as he knows
you do, not me. Good.
Well,
Okay.
Bella Constrictor and everybody else, because he's very good at writing for the actor. So that's I look forward to him getting to know their voices a little bit better and getting to know the strengths and weaknesses of the actors, playing to their strengths and whatnot. It's fun.
Now, the first episode of the show talked about Patreon opportunities for people, but I have another one for you that I think you should do. I really think you should do a GAM version of reviewing the 50 Shades of Grey movies, because you talked about it on the episodes.
Yeah.
I think now wine probably should be involved, but actually kind of recapping the movie, quote unquote, live with your audience would be a lot of fun. So I'm bringing that idea up.
But
and wonder if there's interest in doing it. I know you have to actually watch the movies, but you know,
which I have not seen. No, but like, I'm kind of afraid that Eli is gonna sick Andrew on me, and I don't know how many of your followers are gonna know that reference, but like, the other day I tweeted out that I literally said the sentence, "You will love this podcast," because I was talking about our podcast, PSF, and Eli Bosnick from Gamcaster Got Awful Movies tweeted at me and said I was gonna hear from his lawyer, because that's like a line he hears all the time. He says all the time. It was
the connection. Andrew Torres, who I've interviewed. Well, I haven't interviewed Eli yet. I got Scathing Atheist about the time that he joined, and he wasn't available, so I got Heath and Noah. I didn't get him on the show.
Probably one of my favorite people.
I got Eli before you did. What?
I know.
That's amazing.
I haven't actually. Some people you just know they're on shows all the time, and you're like, oh, there's no way. So you forget to ask. And he's probably one of those. The first time, he'll probably end up licking me at the Reason Con. Yeah, I think I may have reached out a while back, but it's just
things get lost in the Twitter trollverse.
That is true.
So
I try to tweet.
So looking for that right now.
The problem is I like when I listen to Dogma Debate regularly, I could come up with some really good out of context quotes that David Smalley would say, and I would post them and I'd get retweeted. Problem is, like, Eli Bosnick, it's like his stuff isn't out of context. It's kind of just what's coming out of his mind, and it's crazy enough to work. So yeah, we'll bring him on. But yeah, the concept of Eli bringing up ideas to the lawyer Andrew Torres about what he can and cannot say on his show, which he seems to say whatever he wants anyway. So I don't even know why they do that necessarily, but I don't even know. Oh yeah, but I'm just saying that's an idea.
Gamcast, yeah.
Well, I mean, Gam started that. Now God Awful Movies is where they review really bad Christian movies.
And they're going to be doing a live cast at ReasonCon.
And there's a new one coming out. Where's it? The Case for Christ,
Tuesday.
which makes it look like. I saw the trailer for it, and it looks like it's like the guy who investigated Jesus and figured out that he was legit. Lee Strobel, like making Lee Strobel into like this. It's almost like a version of what was that movie where they investigated the Catholic Church? That one, but it's just like people. I mean, I'm thinking who someone I interviewed recently said they actually read The Case for Christ, and that actually made them an atheist. So I'm intrigued to see what happens with these movies. The only problem with these bad Christian movies is, like, recently I posted it that Bible Reloaded did a review of a trailer and the guy starring in the movie is the Duck Dynasty guy, and it's like, dumb Christian movie. But it's produced by Steve Bannon, who's pretty much running our country. So it's like, it's funny, and then it's not funny anymore. So
no, it's not. That kind of stuff is not funny.
It was like this movie is like a bad version of a Dinesh D'Souza movie, and then it's like, oh, never mind. I'm sorry. Why did I say that? Yeah. It's kind of, we're kind of in rambling mode, but I'm saying.
Yeah, we've gone. That's what Eli does to things. Like,
I just need you to know that I'm starting a feud with Eli.
No.
Yes. Yes.
But I've been literally sitting in the same porn videos that we were sitting back and forth all day. We're very close.
Wait, the hoverboard porn?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh wow.
See, so
in
much
the T-Rex
porn.
Costume. Amazing.
That was
the best. Hoverboards for so long.
It's like parkour or something.
Worthy.
Yeah, they were
it's literally a person in one of those T-Rex costumes.
The inflatable Jurassic
hoverboard. Yeah, on a hoverboard, chasing a porn star on another hoverboard, roaring.
And he had a strap on.
So this is how you get an interview with Eli Bosnick. I got it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, send him porn.
Send him punching a Nazi porn or something. I don't know.
Do not send him punching a Nazi porn. He is against.
I don't know if that's still reverberating through the. I don't know.
I don't think it is.
What are we mad about this week in the atheist community? I'm trying to remember. The fake feuds are good. I like the one that.
Yeah,
I'm mad about things. Oh, you know what we should be mad about? Promoting secular feminism.
I'm mad.
Sorry, bring us back, Miss B. Bring us back.
I'm mad that you talked about 50 Shades of whatever.
Darker. 50 Shades Darker.
50 Shades Darker.
That's the movie.
You can say what you want, but that's a book that I've seen in a family member's house, and I've seen in another friend's house. And it's like, people wouldn't have like in the best women's erotica 2016, like just sitting out there. But that book somehow straddled the line.
It's literally like, I know it's very strange phenomenon.
Twilight fanfiction.
Yeah, it's a Twilight fan fiction, but that's beside the point. It's literally just, it is the way that, like I said before, housewives who like are afraid to Google these questions. They're like, my sex is boring because we only do missionary and every once in a while doggy, but it's boring. I want to spice it up, but if I Google it, that's scary because porn might show up or something or whatever, and then so they just read 50 Shades instead and think they're learning something, which they're not.
Yeah.
I've heard more about how the writing was terrible. Of course, I've also heard, thank you to Promoting Secular Feminism, I think you've brought it before, about how it's just it brings up BDSM, which people don't know a lot about, but then it brings it up poorly, and people think that's how it is, and it's kind of the way sex gets brought up. It's always like the slut shaming aspect of it, but it's okay if you're a guy most of the time. And
I mean, oh, I'm sorry, were you not done?
I was hoping
I have a bad habit of interview.
It's okay. Interruptions are probably better than my continued rambling questions.
Sorry,
I in at 8:30 on a Thursday. It's good times.
I have a bad habit of interrupting people. It's just part of my personality, but I try not to. But what I was gonna say was, if I can remember what we were talking about,
we're in a feud with Eli. It's official, but he thought we were in an open feud.
You mean other people are involved in the feud?
We're feuding other people now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say maybe we should have talked about that before we became a free podcast feudsome.
Eli's talking about all the stuff he's going to do at the Red Reason Con. Which since we're about 45 minutes in, we probably should say, hey, Reason Con, it's happening really soon, and you should go to it. I've already bought my tickets. Apparently, I think I'm giving people my drink tickets, so that's a positive thing, right? Are there tickets still available? Would someone on this show know that is a fact?
Probably.
No VIP tickets still available, but regular tickets. I know this because my boyfriend decided last week that he wanted to come with me, even though he's known about it for 6 months.
I wrote a jingle for it.
Good.
I did. It's cute.
Wow,
I don't know if I could actually play it on here, but
we're not very easily staying on target. Is this how your conversations normally go?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Okay, good. I was gonna say.
So we're on the right track.
Yes.
Well, I figured, we should at least bring Reason Con up at one point during the show, because I'm trying to mention it every episode, because I have to apologize to the Reason Con people that I have only edited audio once, and I don't want to do it again, so I do a live show, and I post that audio directly onto iTunes, so I can't put somebody else's promo on there unless I sing it myself, which I might try one week and see how that goes. That might really boost the listenership.
You just hate editing audio?
Well, it's one of those things I just wasn't very good at, and the only time I did it, it probably worked out for the best because I did a Skype because the Google Hangout didn't work, and then there were a couple points where my guest was like, hey, can you edit those things? And I'm like, oh, good thing we weren't live because that would have been awkward. And I added like 2 15-second parts of an hour-long interview, and it took me like 3 days. So I'm sure I could do it, but if I just throw it out there, it's all good, right?
It's probably fine.
I'm pretty sure
I have this bad habit of like repeating myself so that I can like say something better, and that's when I want things edited out. But I haven't. The wine is helping.
The show.
I guess I should just drink more.
The podcast I've listened to the most, where I've heard people say, "Hey, you're going to cut that out, right?" is Promoting Secular Feminism. So we'll see if that continues.
Cut that out. Let's just make that a nice
selective editing
happy
is
giggle
definitely
instead
a
of an
skill.
evil laugh.
Oh, she sent me the jingle. All right.
Nice.
I could probably play the audio like separately and have it on at some point, but yeah, and I do want to mention that there is that Nashville Nuns Conference, which is March 18th.
Yes.
And Chris Watson, who I'll talk with tomorrow in the time travel version of this show. He had on the guy who's actually organizing Nashville Nuns, and he was a Mennonite, and that's a funky story.
Oh, that's interesting.
A Mennonite and their anti-violence who actually got in the military.
With that guy.
Probably. I think his name is Patrick, and I can't remember with an H, but anyway.
Oh, yeah, Patrick.
We'll get into that on the next episode, but we're still going here. And I forget where we are. So we're talking about we're going to talk about 50 Shades of Grey and how Eli is going to be getting the script and performing scenes of it, I believe. It's not actually officially part of the program, but I think it could happen. I don't think it would take much.
Petition. Eli needs to just replace Christian Grey, the actor that plays him, altogether for the final movie.
I mean, Eli doesn't drink, so what do we bribe him with? Is there something else? I mean, he's like does magician stuff. So we give him like a rabbit and a hat. What do we do? How do we make this happen?
No, well,
Lauren.
I'll just kidnap Anna and hold her hostage until he does
Okay.
it. Anna's
Watch
his
out,
wife.
I'm gonna unleash
for
the
anyone who
snakes.
doesn't.
Which I've never said before, and it felt kind of nice.
Yes.
That's plural snakes, by the way.
I like how
have
we've got
3.
our own version of the Kraken, you know, basically.
Unleash the snakes.
Unleash the snakes.
I
would love to be able to do that.
often have people on the show who have pets who show up on the show. So how did this snake thing begin, and what are your current snakes and do we have names, and what do you do with snakes? Maybe that's another loaded question that shouldn't be asked at this point, but you know,
What do you do? Well,
do what you can with it.
rub them. Sometimes some like it really soft. No, okay. I've always wanted snakes. My parents always told me no, even though they were hypocrites, because I knew that my dad had one when he was younger. But that's fine. It's probably also why I'm an atheist. It's all their fault. Because I recognize their
It's always the parent.
criticalness early. It's fine. Anyway, yeah, and then in college I was afraid I was gonna kill it, so I had like dogs and horses and all kinds of pets. Horses in high school, not in college. That would have been crazy.
That would have been really fun.
I know. Dorm rooms are pretty small.
Anyway, I got my first snake my senior year of college, which is about 4 years ago. 2013, 4 years ago. And I still have him, which is impressive. That's like the longest time I've owned any pet ever, because I'm a military brat and I moved a lot, so I had to like just ditch my pets all the time. And his name is Virgil, and he's a ball python, and that's who Miss B met on.
Yes, I
Everything.
did.
Yes,
He's
he's
sweet.
my. If you're afraid of snakes, I'm gonna throw this snake at you when you're drunk, and you will never be afraid of snakes again. That's
something to look forward
snake.
to in Hickory, North Carolina.
I can't wait.
I would love to sneak him
She
into
threw
Rizon.
her snake at me, and it's not a euphemism. It's a literal thing.
Yeah. I
I've
would
never
love to
met a
sneak him
snake.
into ReasonCon, but I don't think that I should. So I probably won't.
I don't know if hotels like have pet restrictions.
It's a snake. It doesn't smell. It doesn't make noise. You stick it in your suitcase and you bring it in. No one will ever know. So let's just put it that way. But
Oh,
anyway,
no.
so
You just reminded me of that badger thing from way long ago in internet history.
That was the
Snake! Those are the best videos ever. Oh my
The
God.
Harry Potter
That
one
was
was the
like
best.
original meme. It was
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I've got
Eli says he will do dramatic readings of 50 Shades on PSF.
Eli is the best person in the world. I love him so much.
I'm going to offer that he can also do other erotica on the show.
Can we do that for patrons? Just
Now I have to
Eli
make sure
reading
to
our
have him on
erotica?
the show before he's on your show and have him recite lines. But there's plenty of Eli for everybody. That's what I've heard.
No, there's not enough Eli for the world. But
Maybe he could
I
read
think this
some of the
whole
PSF
podcast has just
erotica.
been like, yeah. I think this whole podcast has just been like how much we love Eli. That's gross.
We love Sacrilege
Yeah, right.
too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much.
True.
I don't necessarily believe
you're
it,
a
but
nice person.
I'm glad you tried.
You're not wearing your monkey
Hey, for
hat.
two of you, just
so
I
I can
know
only
it's
try so much.
yeah. That's the funny thing is like going on the ReasonCon site and seeing the picture of me with the hat and going, oh yeah, I wore that hat like the whole weekend, and I've worn it on a few shows. When you have this light in your face for an hour, man, it gets hot. So
I imagine so.
I go on natural.
Ah,
It's another thing I should never say on the show. Okay.
Oh, not true.
we're gonna get a lot of good out of context quotes.
I know. It's
Speaking
not
of
supposed to
which-
happen to me. Hey, no, you're using my weapon against me.
That's basically my favorite part about the fact that we are friends on Twitter and things, is how you take the best out of context quotes from PSF episodes. And now we need to make them into memes because we have an Instagram finally.
We do. I own it. I'm in charge of it. I don't own it.
You're stepping up this multimedia experience.
You can't own an Instagram. I don't think that's possible.
Well, we do.
Have you been posting anything on the Instagram?
I literally posted something for the like reboot, or no, for the Miss Andrews thing, but I haven't posted anything since then, and I can't share it.
Because I've got all those the memes that I
Yeah,
made.
so I will give you the info for it. But
We shouldn't have this meeting.
yeah, this is not the time to do that.
I know, it was like promoting secular feminism meeting as well. And we
Production
covered a lot
meetings.
of bases, you know?
The
Yep.
Instagram is
Time
called
is money,
Promoting
people.
Secular Feminism, so follow it.
Yes, we also have a Twitter that's at Secular Feminism and a bunch of other stuff.
A bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
All will be included in the show notes because that's what I do.
awesome. I'm so excited for ReasonCon. I can't even. It's going to be sweet.
What are we, 2 months away-ish? Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah. Yep.
I was like, I don't know if I can go, and then I got the green light. I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
Yes.
Although, as I mentioned to you before, I want to talk to Jim Dobler because he and I are talking about going to Asheville and going to all those awesome breweries there, like on Friday beforehand. And if we do, I'll take pictures and maybe go to the pinball museum. But
Oh, yes. I want to go. Wait, I'll be busy. Crap.
I know, it's like, I got to pick another weekend. Like, Asheville used to be a place where I'd go with my wife and we'd just like hole up in a cabin and watch movies all weekend. And now it's like, there are all these great breweries there. I have to go. It's
the pinball museum is my
important thing.
jam.
And now you tell me about that, and you know, the Biltmore is pretty cool. So it's a nice spot.
Yes.
But I
Eli
hear
just said
there's-
he might write PSF erotica now. So
Oh gosh, see,
we
where we
something.
started tonight. It's been awesome. We've done good and terrible things at the same time.
Yes.
So what can people expect from this season? Like, if you did a little clip thing, like, here's what to expect from season whatever this is for promoting secular feminism, what would you tell people?
Okay. Expect more current events segments that will be recorded sooner.
2 Trumps and a puppy.
Yes.
Oh.
We're calling it
Trumps
Trumps and a Puppy. So we're going to do like 2 regular news things and then 1 happy news thing so that we don't have to go off on a negative note at the end of the segment.
Right.
So it'll be 2 Trumps and a Puppy current events segment. Drunk Herstory, we're going to be talking about women in history of civil rights and feminism and doing so drunk. We're also going to be taking Princess Sparkle Farts into space, a la Star Trek and, oh gosh, what is it? Buck Rogers. And probably some other crazy references that Mr. Haven will expect you to know, but won't expect you to know unless you're, you know, the same age and watch all the same things. And we'll also have, as you know, we've had Dildos and More on the show a couple of times now, but now we have a sister store called
Butt plugs.
Butt Plugs and More.
That was part of the time and more.
And
Butt plugs.
and
Butt
it's
Who
a
needs
sister
more?
store. Apparently, you have to park in the rear there. So that'll be on one of our sketches, and we've also got one coming up that's just going to be telling people to call their representatives as if it were like a public access commercial for used cars. And we've got all kinds of exciting stuff happening. It's going to be so much fun. We've got so many great people on the show, and I'm really excited. And also, I'm, again, looking for more people to add to the correspondent pool. So, you know, we'll always have more people and more content added as we go. But the biggest new thing is the weekly episodes that come out on Monday morning. Earlier on, if you're a patron.
Probably not, though, until we get our show together.
True.
If we're being honest.
Oh, you people with your regular schedules and your Patreon and all that fun stuff. Oh, wait, I have one of those too. So as we're getting there, almost there toward the hour. Let's go around the horn one more time. So Bella and Miss Anthrope and then Miss Behavin, like, how can people reach out to you? And then, of course, all the Promoting Secular Feminism links, I'll include them in the show notes so you can get to ya. Last chance for snake stories, Bella.
Well, I just have 3 right now, but I will talk about my snakes all night long. That's what you said. Right now, I've got a really cool snake that's called a Hydrodynastes gigas. Yep, I'm trying to be a pretentious douche with my snakes and use their scientific names. It's really a false water cobra, which is really cool. It's like a not gonna kill me snake that acts like a cobra, which I'm super excited to own. But yeah, people can pretty much connect with me specifically through PSF. I'm on, like, I'm a what is that called, an admin on a lot of the stuff, so I see things like that. And if you're I believe it's a $3, is it a $3 patron or a $5? Miss B. No?
Oh.
Okay.
I know you had like 1, 2, 5. I think that's how it goes. But
oh well, anyway, if you're it's the second level of patron. If you're a second level patron, you're able to get Bella Constrictor's direct email, and she can answer, or I can answer your sex or relationship questions directly.
that's the hard sell. So is it patreon.com/is it Promoting Secular Feminism, or does it have a different name? Just so I know.
I think that's it.
And if I'm wrong in the show, I will get it right for the notes.
Yes.
So that's good.
So I hope we get Miss B back. She disappeared.
I don't know. Miss
Am I back?
Andrope, you have anything? Oh,
Yes,
there
you're
she
back.
is.
Yay, that is
Okay.
the name. And it is the $2
Okay.
level. I don't know what's
Whoa,
happening.
$2.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, we're just finishing up and let everybody kind of give one last spiel before we call it a night, how to reach them and all that. So, Miss Anthrope, anything you want to add before we call it a night?
Oh God, I'm so boring. I
All right, we're done.
Yes,
Just kidding.
erotica. The end.
yeah. So
Yeah,
stay
there's gonna be
tuned
something
for some erotica courtesy of me.
That'll also be on the Patreon rewards.
Yes, that's the $2 level or
Nope.
$3? No.
I'm the $2 level.
Oh my God.
That's the $5 level.
The $5.
That's the writer's
Who
room.
gets the extra level?
I
Okay.
work more than Bella. Okay.
Oh.
My stuff is more important than yours.
Oh.
It's gonna be a fight.
Fight.
Prank war.
I am so here to fight.
Eli's gonna sue you.
Okay. So if you'd like to read some erotica, then donate $5 and I'll see what I can put out for you.
I'm so excited.
There you go. So
But
Miss Behavin.
she runs the Instagram, so if you want to
Oh, yeah.
with her immediately, you can get, which is not good. Like, don't harass Miss Anthrope on the Instagram.
Harass her.
Yeah, harass Bella.
It's more fun that way.
Oh my God. I
I definitely shut down a harasser today by
Oh,
telling him he could pay me, and he was like, "No," and I was like, "Cool, never mind." Sorry, that's out of
Never
context.
mind.
I do a lot of
So
modeling.
if
Keep going.
yeah, okay.
So hit up the Instagram if you want to talk to me, or pretty much anything else. I'm an admin on the Facebook, and I have the Twitter account, so I'm highly available.
Okay, Miss B. What else do you got?
highly available.
Super easy.
So-
Highly,
okay.
not sort of.
Okay, here's the deal. PSF is all over the place as far as places to listen. You can find episodes on promotingsecularfeminism.com, on Spreaker.com, on Stitcher, on our website. You can also subscribe to the RSS feed, or you can plug it into any of your favorite podcasting apps. We also have Spreaker automatically put out videos on YouTube with our episodes. And we also have our own Android app in the Google Play Store, so you can get episodes as soon as they're uploaded. If you want to support us, we have Patreon at patreon.com/promotingsecularfeminism, On Twitter, we're at Secular Feminism, and on Facebook, we're facebook.com/promoting secular feminism. And I am admin on so many things, but if you want to contact me directly, especially if you want to become a correspondent, email me at promotingsecularfeminism@gmail.com, and we will talk.
We'll talk. Maybe we'll
Yes.
get that link that you sent Eli. If you donate, there's a certain level. Maybe I should turn that around. Okay, well, if you want to support this show, you can go to patreon.com/Zachrilege, Zachrilege, and if I can spell it after 2 beers, you can too. Follow me on Twitter at Zachrilege, like the Zachrilege Cast page on Facebook, send all hate mail to zachrilege.cast@gmail.com. Thank you to the ladies of Promoting Secular Feminism for being on tonight. Maybe I'll get an avatar someday too and be cool. Stay safe, everybody listening. If you need to chat, I'm available. If you're an atheist and feel alone, you're not alone. Reach out, let's chat, and get that human connectiveness that brings people back every Sunday. Stay skeptical. I love all y'all, and good night.